where Prime Minister Modi met with President Xi Jinping. And the breaking news coming in right now is that after a handshake and a bilateral meeting with the Chinese President Xi Jinping, Prime Minister Modi is now holding meets with other leaders of other states. Remember, this is an important summit where many leaders make their presence felt. And now the news that we are getting is Prime Minister Modi is also meeting up with the Senior General of Myanmar. His meetings are scheduled with other leaders as well, but the news that we are getting of the current meeting is with the Senior General of Myanmar, which is ruled by a military regime. Prime Minister Modi is present at the SCO summit, and today he met up with Xi Jinping, President of China, and held a very important bilateral meeting. This is a big global diplomacy push by the Prime Minister of India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in China. Remember, this is an important time for the SCO summit to happen as India and China both look to make a multipolar world. They look to create a new world order which is suitable for this new century. And now what we hear is that there are some other meetings that are scheduled to happen with the Prime Minister, and of them, one is with the General, a Senior General of Myanmar. Now, there are many issues that India needs to address with Myanmar, and they are related to not just refugees and other issues, but it seems that the Prime Minister is finding time to meet not just the two big names that were earlier floated, which is the President of China, Xi Jinping, and President Putin of Russia, but also some other neighbors who are crucial for the internal security of India as well. And one of them is Myanmar. We have seen in recent times where India has suffered an onslaught of refugees coming in from Myanmar, and this could be crucial issues that could come up in these meetings. And also the stability within that region is important for the economic stability for India, as well as taking on the load of any country's refugees is a huge economic challenge for any country. And recently we did see Bangladesh accepting the fact that it cannot bear the burden of the Rohingya refugees anymore. And now the news we are hearing from the SCO summit right now is that Prime Minister Modi has met up with a Senior General of Myanmar as well. On your screens, you also see the bilateral meeting that happened in the morning. A very crucial meeting, not just for India and China, but also keeping in mind the global order. As US exerts pressure using its trade might, it is India that is finding new global partners, partners to grow with, partners to share development with, partners to sustain that pressure that is coming from US right now in terms of tariffs that have been imposed, and also the penalty, the supposed penalty which has been imposed for what Trump says or for what US says is the buying of the Russian oil. Although now there are reports getting published in the US media itself that it is much more than that. Is it public humiliation that US has suffered in terms of many issues, such as again and again touting the issue of ceasefire? But joining us now from Tianjin is Gaurav Sawant. Gaurav, the news that we are getting right now is that Prime Minister Modi is not just meeting, he has met up with Xi Jinping, he is scheduled to meet with Putin as well, but he has also met with a Senior General from Myanmar as well. Now, why is this important?
Myanmar is a very close partner of India in the war on counterterrorism. When you look at this grouping of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, it was formed as a grouping to combat terrorism and extremism. India, Myanmar, they've combated terrorists together. Myanmar has shed blood in India's war on terror, and this is a very important cooperation. Point one. Point two, Myanmar is a very important neighbor of India, and the West may have the luxury of deciding, whether there's a military junta or a democratically elected government. India, living next door to Myanmar, has to deal with a situation where you have to keep your people safe, and the people of Myanmar who are historically connected to India, their welfare is equally important. So India-Myanmar cooperation has always been very good, very strong. The military leadership in Myanmar, they've helped India combat terrorists in the past. When you didn't have a good equation with the leadership there, it's been detrimental to our security. So, historically, when you see India-Burma relations or India-Myanmar relations, they've always been good. India's effort is to improve them even further. India is helping Myanmar with a lot of development aid, and it's not restricted just to food and medicines, but it's also, tractors for agriculture or infrastructure growth or infrastructure development in Myanmar. At the same time, it is for the people in Myanmar to decide how best they want to move forward. There are some hostile forces that were moving into the region. There is a territory which, borders our area. If that territory is with the rebel forces, it's not very good for our security. So there are many dimensions of India-Myanmar relations, and Prime Minister engaging with the military leadership there is one way to ensure that at the highest level we can ensure India's interests are best served cooperating with Myanmar.
Right.